Welcome to This Week in 2016 Presidential Polls, where we look past the horse race to the numbers that really matter. Here's the polling news that you need to know for the week ending September 11th. Now this week we're going to take a look at illegal immigration. That's an issue that has been dominating the Republican nomination contest, but it may play out much differently in the general election. Now, most Americans do think that illegal immigration is a serious problem here in this country, but there are stark partisan differences on just how big a problem it is. The Monmouth University poll found that 2/3 of Republicans call this issue a serious problem. Only half that number of Democrats feel the same. Independents at 4 and 10 are closer to Democrats than Republicans on how much weight they give to this issue. There is also a large partisan gap for one of the big ticket proposals to curb illegal immigration. Nearly 3 in 4 Republicans support building a wall along the Mexican border. Just 3 in 10 Democrats agree. Independents are split, with just under half approving of this project. A recent poll from PPP found that 51% of GOP voters say that they would support amending the Constitution to get rid of birthright citizenship. Now, they didn't ask this question among Democrats or independents, so we have a larger question. How will this actually play out in the presidential campaign? A CNN poll came out this week that showed a 9-point increase over the past couple of months in the number of voters who say that illegal immigration will be extremely important to them when they make a vote decision. But this increase was even higher among Republicans. A 16-point jump to 51% of Republican voters who say now illegal immigration is extremely important to them when they decide how to cast their ballot. And if we look at specific policy proposals, we find that Republican voters in Iowa and New Hampshire are more than twice as likely as Democrats to say that they would be inclined to favor a candidate who wants to end birthright citizenship. The NBC Marist poll also found that 1/3 of independents in these two crucial states would be likely to support a candidate who pushed for this change. The same poll also found that a majority of GOP voters in Iowa and New Hampshire would be turned off by a candidate who supports a pathway to citizenship for illegal immigrants already in the country. Fewer than 1 in 4 Democrats, though, feel the same. Independents are more divided, with about 4 in 10 being less likely to support a candidate who proposed a pathway for illegal immigrants. These results show how the immigration debate is playing a much bigger role in the Republican contest than it is on the Democratic side. Now, the real question is, will this conversation spill over into the general election? And if so, what impact will it have on independent voters who currently occupy a middle ground on this issue? It does seem that many voters are already dismissing some of the more inflammatory rhetoric. Despite Donald Trump's contention that Mexico is sending murderers and rapists across the border, most Americans do not believe that illegal immigrants are any more prone to crime than other people currently in the U.S. And that's true regardless of party label. In fact, most of those who have heard about Donald Trump's plan actually oppose it, but there is a stark partisan divide. For example, 59% of Republican voters, they agree with that plan. 84% of Democrats, they don't like it. And independents are split. We find a 34% in favor, 56% oppose. Now, this hardline stance that's currently making the rounds in the Republican nomination contest may not play out as well in the general election. For example, independents may disagree with that stance, or they may simply think that illegal immigration does not rank up there with the important issues that they are considering when they decide who they're going to vote for president. So we're going to keep an eye on this issue as the election campaign progresses, because it may have an impact on the eventual success of that Republican nominee. So those are the highlights and lowlights of This Week in 2016 presidential polls. Until next time, I'm Patrick Murray from the Monmouth University Polling Institute.